We are. I did it right. Hey, folks. I know it's like I'm not used to making us go live. Usually it's Erin doing this. But hey, folks, welcome to SVT time. It is Tuesday. It's been a long time coming. It's been like a couple of months since we've done SVT times here. But we're back. We're back. It's a new year. Welcome everyone. Dom, thanks for joining in. Yeah, exactly. Cheers from Salem, Mass. Actually. Nice. Special guest today, Tony Dickinson. Tony, thank you so much for joining us today, man.
Thanks for having me.
I know we had talked about this at NAMM, and we had a couple of quick exchanges, and man, it's great to have you. This is literally, like I was saying, this is the conversation that we always try and have at NAMM.
Yeah.
But because of the nature of NAMM,
yes.
You're always looking over your shoulder, and you've got an appointment to keep, and people are tapping you on. So, anyways, what can I say? Yeah. Let me see who we have in the comments here. Of course, Paul from UK is good morning, Paul, and thank you for joining. Paul's one of our regulars here. He's like,
cool.
If at some point we're probably going to have Paul on the live stream.
I was going to say, if we don't see him online when we first start, I'm just ending the episode. We're not.
Yeah, exactly. We kind of get nervous. Like, I wonder, is Paul okay? But yeah. So Tony, and a lot of stuff to talk about, and
fastest bass player in the West, right?
Dude,
I don't know about that.
Oh, we're gonna we are definitely going to talk about that. I'm gonna trim my mic here a little bit. And what's funny, man, was I saw the first video that turned me on was how to get fired from a gig, and this was before we even met. I remember seeing that video, and I was like, that is so true. But then I saw the Dave. But we're going to talk about that here in a little bit. But Tony, where are you originally from?
Originally, I'm from Colorado. I grew up in Colorado. I lived there up until about 2 years ago.
Okay.
And then I moved to Los Angeles.
Yeah.
So that's where I'm located currently, but I'm actually about to move out East Coast.
Oh, yeah?
Into New York. So.
Really?
Yes.
Why? If you don't mind me asking.
That's the important part.
No,
because I've been in a long distance relationship. That's
okay,
that makes sense. I wanted the East Coast guy to ask that, not me.
Well, no, the reason why I ask is because I still have a foot of snow in my front yard. It's like, why would you want to move? But I totally get it.
Man, I think because I grew up in Colorado, I find constant sunshine actually a little boring.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Like it's the same day every day, which is fine. If you love great weather, it's great. This is a great place for you. But it's like the same day. I feel like I'm back in COVID again, where it's just like every day is the same freaking day, and you can't like tell one from another. I don't know. That's just me. I'm making it sound a little bit more intense than it is. But
I get it.
Great.
I get it though. Like when I was living in LA, like my wife and I would always look forward to those rainy Sundays.
Yeah.
Or rainy Saturdays. It was just like, oh, we get to sleep in and we can just kind of hang out in the house, and we're not, it's not like we got to go out and do something because it's such a nice day out. But so Colorado.
I'm from Ohio, and like, when it's a nice day, you have to be outside.
Yeah.
So I still have that every day. When I hear it's like hard to be in the studio. Like, it's so nice that I have to be outside.
Yeah.
So what drove you to LA from Colorado?
Well, mostly because there's not a whole lot of music industry in Colorado, and the point where I was like, you know what, I need to change. Definitely need to change. I was just kind of done with Colorado for a number of reasons, and I have family out here. I have several older brothers that live in Southern California, and I have a number of friends that live out here as well. So at least having people to connect with, but I know plenty of people on the East Coast as well.
Yeah.
But I just needed to change for the most part a couple years ago, and of course want to try the LA thing. At least say I did it.
Yeah.
And I've met a lot of great people out here. Yeah.
Now, were you working full time as a bass player in Colorado too, or?
Not really. I mean, I was doing some gigging out there, but again, most of my stuff actually really happens remotely. As like a producer and mixer and stuff like that. So that just happens anywhere, right? I was gigging in Denver doing a bunch of like cover band stuff, and I had this band called Silva. It had to stop during COVID, but it was like a pop funk band that I had formed with some friends of mine, and it was a lot of fun. I mean, we were basically the way I would have described it was Dream Theater fans trying to make Maroon 5 songs.
Nice.
So like,
Okay.
yeah, we're trying to make like funky dance tunes, but there's a lot of like weird, sophisticated little musical things in there, but trying to like do it in such a way that almost like flies under the radar. But that unfortunately had to kind of stop when COVID hit. My singer had like 3 children during COVID.
Oh wow.
And he was and we just, we obviously couldn't get together and play for years after that. And then he kids, and then he's also a firefighter, and so yeah.
Very busy then.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Wow.
Man. Very cool.
Well, I've listened to your pop stuff on your .com on your website, and it sounds amazing.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Were you doing like production library stuff for a while?
I was, yes. So mostly between 2014 to 2019, I guess. Yeah, I was working for Warner Chappell Production Music, specifically a company called Nonstop Music, which is based out of Salt Lake City. And like the library music thing is interesting and fine. It's it's generic music by design, right?
Yeah.
So it's you always try to put a lot of work into the production, and then musically it's not always like the most fulfilling thing, but it definitely I was definitely happy to be able to do that, because it was like the first like almost like right out of college, that was like my first like music job, and I was actually like making music for money, which I wasn't expecting actually to happen, and I just kind of like lucked into it. But I'm like a huge fan of I've always been a huge fan of video game soundtracks, which I do now as well. And I got that job from just like contacting a video game composer that I was familiar with on Facebook.
Oh wow.
And like started talking to him about how, like sports themes on like ABC and ESPN and stuff like that. That was like really cool and badass generally. And just like talked with him, and he's like, "Oh man, I have this neighbor that actually makes these sports themes. I should connect you with him." And then I started doing guitar session work for that guy, which then led me to writing for library stuff.
Cool.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, video game soundtrack. That's so fun. That was my first gig in LA. I was working for Guitar Hero.
Really? Okay.
Interesting time.
Very cool. Yeah.
Now, how did you get into the Guitar Hero thing? Because that was my question, and Tony had covered it, but I was like, how does one get into doing that?
I was very lucky in that same thing. I lucked my way into it, where my college roommate, who's a very successful producer in Nashville now, but I told him I was coming out to LA. He and I kind of had like this sibling rivalry thing within because we were the same major, both music production students or whatever. And he was so freaked out that like I had a plan for after school. And then he was like, "No, I'm going to LA." But we always made fun of him. He had the worst senioritis of anybody I've ever met. And he never went to classes senior year, and he just played Guitar Hero all day long. But he's a fantastic guitarist at the same time. We're like, "Dude, you're wasting your time. Like, why are you doing all this?" So anyways, long story short, he moves to LA first, gets a job there working for Guitar Hero. And it's the whole time it proved that it was just like perfectly, it was a good investment of his time. So then he referred me, and that's the only reason really I got my foot in the door there.
Gotcha.
But the whole video game culture in terms of both players and creators it's really great. Yeah.
And you get to work from home.
Yes.
Yeah, man. So fast forward from Colorado to LA. Now, for Trans-Siberian Orchestra, did you get that gig after you moved to LA, or was that something that was already really?
Yeah. So I started working with them back in actually 2011. So like I was like still in college. The founder of Trans-Siberian Orchestra, this guy Paul O'Neill, he kind of had this philosophy that at the time, he saw the transitional period of the music industry, from like the beginning of the internet to at that point, he was seeing how like the music label format was just not like changing and just generally kind of not working and starting to fail a little bit. And his philosophy was to start mentoring and working with young musicians because labels were stopping doing that. And like the old model was that the label would see like a young talented musician and like they would front all the resources to develop them into like their like the final, or the final image, like where they are now. And now artists kind of have to do that themselves. But Paul thought that because Paul had just all this shit ton of money, he might as well sink it back into young musicians to be able to give them a chance, musicians that he thought were very talented. So I started working with them back in 2011, and 2017 was when I started doing my first full-time tour with Trans-Siberian Orchestra.
Okay.
Yeah, and so I still live in Colorado, and TSO is like their member. Like it actually doesn't really matter where you live because the tour happens in a contained time frame, and you just fly to rehearsals and you start the tour and then you fly home. We have musicians who are from Europe actually that we fly in, one of our lead singers on the East Coast band. If people are not aware, they're listening. There are actually two TSO bands. East and West, and I'm on the East. So our lead singer, male singer Robin Bornman, he's from the Netherlands, and one of our keyboard players, Min Kim, she is originally from South Korea. I think she lives there now. She lived in Germany at one point, and I think she lived in the States briefly. But yeah, we do have some international talent that is in TSO.
That's cool.
Yeah. And I didn't catch you guys this year. I caught it last year. It's kind of become like a tradition with my family. Like, and you guys are usually here in Manchester, New Hampshire, the day after Thanksgiving, the Friday after Thanksgiving.
Always Black Friday.
And I got to tell you, this is why I commented, like, I think it was Hoogie, Hoogie's going to be joining us.
Is he?
For an SVT time. Yeah, next month. Yeah, I hit him up. So when he sent that photo of your, and I commented about your footwear. Anyway, it's a grueling show. It's like, is it 3 hours or more than 3 hours?
It's between 2 to 2.5 hours. Generally, most of our show times are about 2:10.
Okay.
I think this past year it was like 2:15 or 2:20. They wanted to do this like special tribute to the Beethoven's Last Night album that came out 25 years ago. And so that kind of just, that made like the back half of the show like a little bit longer than the previous shows. But it's generally like 2:10 is about the runtime for a TSO show.
But you guys aren't like, you're not standing in one spot the whole night. You guys are running all over the stage. You're being on these elevators and lifted platforms and pyros going off. And I mean, to watch the show as an audience member, you get tired, like, but in a good way. You know what I mean? Like you walk out of there going, wow, that was just freaking amazing. But then you're doing that every night, and then twice on weekends. Like twice during the day on weekends, a matinee and a night show. So,
that's much. Wow.
Yeah, it's like, I mean, just being a musician and of course a bass player. That was my first thought after seeing the show. It's like, man, that's not an easy show to do. Like, so comfortable shoes is kind of imperative on that. You're not going out there in heels.
So. Some of the other people on the band like have, fancy looking footwear. I discovered really quickly by doing this, I really needed comfortable footwear. And so I actually ended up going with Skechers slip-ins. They're all black, so they just blend in with the clothing. But yeah, like I've tried. The first year I tried to bring boots. That was a bad idea. Terrible idea. I've tried doing dress shoes. Also terrible idea. I've tried getting like custom dress shoes, which looked really cool and were very comfortable, but they actually had no grip on them because they were supposed to be for dancers, right? And which was also going to be a bad idea. So I Yeah, so I just had to go basically with sneakers, like all black sneakers, and I've had a variety of all black sneakers throughout my tenure with TSO, but starting last year or 2024, it's 2026 now. I keep forgetting.
Yeah, right.
2024, I think was the first year I tried to do the Skechers slip-ins. And I was like, oh, actually, it's really great. These are really comfortable, and it's really great that I don't have to tie my laces, because there have been many instances where I'm on stage and I'm like, oh crap, my shoelace has come untied, and I'm about to do a song where I got to run around.
Yeah.
So you kind of have to try to do it like in the dark or something, or try to like play it off and not be too obvious about it. But like, finding these shoes where it's like, oh, no laces and they're comfortable. Then I'm like, I don't have to worry about it. Don't trip.
I was going to say, you can't just stick your foot down in the pit and have Hoogie tie your laces for you just real quick.
I could.
I know he would too. I mean, that's
but he's definitely too busy with the guitar player. I try not to bother him that much.
Okay, so he's covering guitar as well as bass. Yeah. It's funny because when he you're an aging rock star when you start talking about footwear instead of gear on stage. I'm just going to leave that. I'm speaking on me, on my behalf, but hopefully someday Skechers will catch wind of this and they'll come out with a Tony Dickinson TSO model, and you get a Skechers endorsement, and and you'll remember us, us little people on the side when we need stage wear.
Right.
But no, I was going to say the whole way we came together was Hoogie had reached out to me asking about the SGT DI, the pedal, so he could put it in the rig, because at that time he was telling me, and this was before we knew each other. He was telling me, Tony's basically running his Music Man, and I forget what other bass are you playing on the TSO gig? The Music Man, and
so I have two Music Mans. One's a Sterling from 2011, like one of the nicer Sterlings, and then a Stingray. Both are double humbucker.
Okay.
And 2024, which was also Hoogie's first year with us, that's when we got just a normal Fender P bass.
Okay.
So those three basses are my lineup for TSO.
For all TSO. But at that time you were basically running them into a DI out the front of house, and then that was going into your ears, which is fine. But it's it's fine until it's not fine, until you want something warm and
Right. Yeah. I was generally okay with it to start, because that's what I do at home, honestly, is I'm in the box, and all my music production stuff is just like plugins on the computer for the most part. I mean, like I have like a Fractal FX 3 and some other things, but when I'm mixing, I'm just doing it with plugins. And so I would work with at least the in-ear monitoring engineer to at least make it sound just interesting and fun to play with in my ears. But that is the way it sounds in my ears is independent of the front of house. What we were discovering, I guess it just kind of always had been a problem, and they just dealt with it. The way I play the bass on that gig, especially because I'm moving around so much, is I play it play the bass way more aggressively than I do at home, because the bass is physically moving around, and you just kind of have to control it. Those Music Man pickups are super hot, and they clip really easily, especially if you hit them. If you hit them in the wrong way, there were things that I was trying that I could do to kind of adjust my playing to avoid doing that. And like if you play more over the fretboard as opposed to just right over the pickups, if you play more over the fretboard, it like won't clip the pickups.
Right.
But it was still always a thing that the front of house just kind of had to deal with, and I think they just kind of let it happen. And so when Hoogie got on board and front of house, or Hoogie, okay, we put in a Solo Dallas pedal, like a little preamp box. I'm trying to remember what it is. We actually took it out this year, but we had this Solo Dallas like replica or something. It's basically just like a little preamp, and it can give like a little bit of saturation. I guess it's kind of designed for when you're using like a wireless signal, just kind of giving just like a little bit more ass that you would get by plugging in directly. And I guess this Solo Dallas thing actually stopped the clipping because I think it has a limiter built in actually.
Okay.
And front of house was like, wow, I don't know what you did, Hoogie, but we're really happy. Like we haven't been hearing that clipping. And so Hoogie, of course, because he knows everybody, and he's like, hey, you want to try this? You want to try this in your rack? You want to try this? I can get this. So just like, yeah, man, why not? So between this past tour and the 2024 tour, that's when Hoogie was like, yeah, we should try doing an Ampeg, because I had just gotten the P bass, and we all love P basses, but they can either sound great or absolute trash depending on the scenario. And depending on the context. So and also my Stingray is very interesting because my Stingray sounds way different than the Sterling. The Sterling sounds amazing just direct. The Stingray has a lot of treble, like just a freaking massive amount of treble, naturally. And like I would turn down the treble knob on the equalizer on the bass to try to work with it, but it's just the way it sounds, especially with new strings. It gets a little bit annoying. So Hoogie suggested, let's try doing this Ampeg SGT, get it from you guys, and then I messed with it at home during the year, and I kind of came up with some great settings. You guys sent two to me, which was like the black one and the blue one. And and I messed around with it. It was a lot of fun. It definitely sounded really good, and I thought like, having kind of like a cab simulator is actually especially going to help with the P bass and the Stingray to kind of just round out the sound, and make them a little bit more uniform, I guess. So this year when we came in, I brought the pedals in. I kind of had some basic settings, and I was just like tweaking them during rehearsal and everything. And I had one for practice, and I gave the other to Hoogie to put in the rack. And what we ended up doing was doing a parallel signal. So we had just like my normal DI and the as one signal, and then my signal through the Ampeg SGT, and ran them parallel. So we had like a direct and then like an amp, kind of like, which is very common for for engineering rock records, because I still like having like the untouched low end from the bass pickups, and then mixing that with this extra grindy, punchy, distorted amp sound. I got so many compliments for my bass tone this year. It was great. It was. And we'd also used like an EBS multi-band compressor, and we just really we just slammed it hard because I play the basses hard. So it just was not going to go anywhere. That helped a lot. That was like the first thing in the signal. So even that signal, so like the compressor was going to front of house, and they just didn't have to. After that combination of DI and SGT, I got so many compliments on my bass tone. They're like, wow, we can just hear you anywhere. And it is hard to get a bass coming in clearly and punching through, especially in an arena setting where there's so much like arena gross reverb stuff they got to deal with.
Like, how many people are on stage too? I mean, what, you got like a 9-piece band or something probably?
We have 7 instrumentalists. We have a narrator and then 5 female vocalists and 5 male vocalists, but we also hire local string sections whenever we do a show. But there is basically no onstage sound except for the drum cymbals. TSO does this weird thing where we our drummers play Roland V drums with samples and then acoustic cymbals.
Okay.
And that was just like an aesthetic thing that I think they did for sake of recording on the first couple of albums, and then Paul O'Neill just really got used to it, and he really liked that sound, and that just kind of became the TSO sound.
Interesting.
At least, yeah.
Wow. It makes sense in that format to have the V drums.
Yes, and I think and yes, for TSO it works well because our goal, I mean, it's a family show, right?
Yeah.
And like it's 5-year-olds to 85-year-olds.
Yeah.
And so keeping the volume level down for a show is kind of important, especially for that sort of audience. And having the V drums and basically like no onstage sound really helps us accomplish that.
Yeah.
Do you feel like that messes with you a little bit as a bassist?
Sorry, say that again.
Do you feel like that messes with you at all? Like, does it change? Like for me personally, I'm probably just projecting here, but like when I take out in-ears and I'm only hearing like the stale sound of like just a drum kit in the room or whatever, or just cymbals, like, and there's just none of that like warm low end from side fills or anything like that. I don't know. Does that mess with you? Or you like just you're also moving around a ton, so it might not matter as much, but that always kind of messes with me a little bit.
I can actually feel the bass on stage from the subwoofers, especially on the sides of the stage, because like the fills are right like on the edges of the stage. So when I'm on the wings, on the outer wings, I can actually feel the sub pretty good. But most of my music career, I've been like in apartments, sharing living spaces with other people. So I'm like kind of used to not playing with a whole lot of like vibration. Like I'm actually kind of used to playing on headphones. So that was not a hard adjustment for me. And I do have a good set of like a JH Audio, like V3s, like 16 V3s or whatever, that have like a pretty decent amount of low ends. But even then, like with the in-ear engineer, I'm like, just like, bring a low shelf up so I can really at least kind of pretend like I'm feeling the bass.
Yeah.
You brought up a perfect point there as a bass player. Like we've all lived in apartments.
Mm-hmm.
And like we've all lived in those situations where you can't have your SVT on your third floor apartment.
Right.
And, like we're kind of used to at this point practicing and playing to headphones or ears or at very low volumes anyway. So that's an interesting point.
I treat any opportunity that I can get like an SVT 8x10 as a backline as like a special treat. It'll just be like extra fun. Like so being able to play through like a large stack and being able to like feel it and push some air, that's just like a special treat. But I'm kind of used to not having a super whole massive amount of low end, and I've just adapted to it.
Yeah. And even in a situation like TSO or any big production like that, a stage rig, unless you've got a wall of SVTs behind you, chances are one rig off to the side or even underneath the stage.
Yeah.
How much of it is really are you feeling versus what you're hearing in your ears anyhow? So and that's kind of where the SGT came from, was try and not eliminate that, but just kind of like, well, if you want that experience, if you want the SVT and you want the IRs and all that stuff, rather than having to stick an SVT under the stage, we'll just put it in a box and just make it that much easier for you.
Mm-hmm.
So, Tony, what do you prefer to have in your IEM mix? Good question.
From Australia.
Actually. Okay, cool. My mix is pretty close to, I would actually say, kind of like, sounds like a studio recording. We have, if you can imagine, or if you've ever listened to like a TSO mix, like imagine that, but drums and guitars are a little bit louder. My job, of course, is to fill in the gap between the guitars and the drums, and then keyboards follow me. So like a lot of the left hand of the keyboards are doing pretty similar to what I'm doing. But vocals, yes, I do need vocals, but they're not as important. It's most important that I'm locking in with drums and rhythm guitar. So those are a little bit louder. Of course, got myself pretty loud.
Mm-hmm.
but it's a pretty normal. It would be a pretty normal sounding mix. It wouldn't be that weird. It's just like certain instruments are pushed up higher because I need to focus on those.
Yeah.
Cool.
Interesting. Great question. Thanks.
Yeah. Rachel, what's up? Good to see you again. He said we're early today because we sprung ahead last week. That's why.
Oh, that's right too. Yeah.
Oh,
sorry.
right. Yeah.
Sorry.
The rest of the world doesn't do what we do. Other times.
Yeah. Sorry about that, Rachel. Yeah, I guess we are early. And yeah, what can I say? No, that's interesting because that's something that I think I always struggle with too. It's like trying to, especially when you're dealing with an in-ear mix, like, what do I want? And then usually, and I found that a lot of times when I get what I ask for in my in-ears, once the band starts kicking, and by that time we're live and the show's going, it's like, oh shit, that's actually not what I wanted in my ears. Like it's totally opposite what I wanted in my ears. I just wanted vocals and a little, so granted, usually most of the shows that I'm doing, like, you've got 5 minutes to get your in-ear mix, or the front of house guy gives you a link to his, he gives you your own channel so you can kind of mess with your own mix on your iPad. I would assume that in a production like TSO or any arena production, you're going to spend a lot more time dialing in your ears and your monitor mix so that everybody's.
Yeah. We have 2 weeks of rehearsal to figure that out.
Yeah.
When I've done like on the fly gigs, like I've played gigs with this Queen tribute band, actually on guitar, and we have in-ears as part of the deal, and we just kind of we generally have engineers that are doing it, but sometimes they give us access to our own iPads. Sometimes they don't. It just depends on the system. Yeah. And I generally just like hearing a little bit of everything. A gig like that, I really need to hear, or like a Queen tribute gig, I really need to hear the keyboards and the vocals for sure. Yeah. And a lot of times those types of gigs are just like, it's just like a mono in-ear situation. But because I do so much like production stuff, I'm pretty good at being able to just like balance it on my own. So I prefer to have access to doing my own mix if possible.
Now, is it out of the question to ask a monitor engineer, especially, in generic terms, like, hey, can you warm up the bass in my ears, or can you do this to the sound of my ears, or in some cases, if you know what frequency you're looking for, can you boost 500 and cut 30? Is it out of the question to ask a monitor engineer those questions?
Not at all, especially with TSO. Like they are there to serve the musicians, and they're always cooperative and they're always very professional. Because I went to audio engineering school, so like I learned, I have a degree basically in recording. Okay, so I have the vocabulary to and the knowledge to kind of like, I know what I want, and I have specific things that I want to have done to the mix. So I can like, I literally will, like, just in a text message, I'll just like write down all the adjustments. It's like, on this one, bring the drums up 2 dB, and have like really specific adjustments, and they'll do it when they have the chance. Frequency wise, I generally don't have to change a whole lot. They're on the top of that, on top of it. In-ear, what actually impresses me about our in-ear monitoring engineers is like all the types of in-ears, they do have a different sound. And like I don't really know what goes into designing an in-ear monitor, but it's weird. Like they are designed differently depending on if a bass player is going to be using them or if a vocalist is going to be using them. They probably accentuate different frequencies. With my 16V3s, like they do have a pretty fat low end, but they also have a whole lot of low mid, which needs to be taken down. Yeah, when I am using them, like every time I use them, like I have to bring like the 250 to 300 down a little bit, and then I just tell them like boost the high end 4K and up, like high shelf, a few dB, just make it sound like a little bit clearer. But having the vocabulary doesn't hurt.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
I always have a rule of thumb where wherever my vocals are in rehearsal, I take them like 2 or 3 dB down. There's something about singers, man, where like when you hit the stage, there's so much louder. There's so much.
Mhm.
Yeah. Every time in rehearsal, I'm like, I think I'm good. And then we go live. I'm like, whoa. And I hit the
Yeah.
instant, you
Yeah.
know?
Yeah.
And you swear something changed between sound check and
Right.
and downbeat, which but well, cool. Let's talk about some other cool stuff. Like, let's talk about basses. So
Sure.
I know prior to us going live, you were gonna grab. You have a Muckleroy 6-string.
Yeah. So whenever I'm not doing TSO, I do this. I have this 6-string bass, and I kind of like playing 6-string bass all the time.
Okay.
For it works fantastically for basically every gig. I've done it for metal gigs, I've done it for jazz fusion gigs, I've done it for like hip hop gigs before.
Cool.
Let me grab it real quick.
Yeah.
So for those who are able to see it on screen, oop, my bad, bump the mic. So this is a Muckleroy 6-string HMC, I think, HMC 6.
Okay.
That I got 10 years ago. And it's basically like, it's just the only bass I want to play. It feels that good.
Wow.
I don't care about having any other 6-string at this point because it's custom made. And big shout outs to Brady Muckleroy. He obviously the guy that designed it. He's a luthier from Texas. And he is also a really great bass player himself. I've seen the dude play, and he's fantastic. He's fantastic. So he knows what makes a bass playable, and he's able to design that into his basses. And so I met him back in Colorado 2013 initially. It was basically this just like a bass player's hangout. It was like at do you guys Callium Strings?
Oh yeah.
Callium Bass Strings.
Yeah.
The guy that owns it is based in Evergreen, Colorado, or he has a house, or maybe he doesn't anymore, but at least at the time he did.
Okay.
And so he would host this like bass player hangout sort of thing up at his house in Evergreen. And a buddy of mine went to that and invited me out there. And so I went there, and there's just like all these like really skilled bass players. And Brady brought like 10 of his basses. Wow. And I played them, and I was like, oh my God, like I could not believe how playable his basses were. And I just like knew I had to get one eventually. Okay. And what ended up happening is a couple years later, I have a friend who has a sample library company called Impact Soundworks. He owns it, and he contacted me, and he's like, hey man, we have this, we have one of their like flagship sample series is called Shreddage, which are basically like shreddage guitar, shreddage bass, shreddage drums, and they have a variety of them where it's just samples of bass guitars or drum sets or guitar. For the guitars, they do actually like they sample like the DI guitar, so you can use the sampled guitar and put that through an amp, as opposed to doing like an already recorded amped guitar sound, which guitars are really hard to simulate sample-wise. And there's too many guitar players out there, so you should just go hire a guitar player. So he contacted me. He's like, I want to do an update to our shreddage bass library, and we want to gear it towards like progressive metal musicians, and we kind of want to do a 6-string bass range. And I was like, I've got an idea. So the amount of money that they're going to pay me for this project was about the same amount that like one of Brady Muckleroy's basses was going to be. So I was like, hey, if you give me half up front, I can get construction started on this bass.
Yeah. And
that's what I did. And so I got the bass, recorded it for the library, and I've just had it ever since. I'm cool with this as my 6-string.
Yeah. I love that.
What's funny is if anybody's interested in going to get that library and like actually have this sampled bass, it's Shreddage Abyss. I think they rebranded it, so it has a slightly different name now. I did a solo album with Mike Mangini a few years ago, and the demos he was sending me, because he writes everything in MIDI. and so he sent me these bass lines, and when I listened to the bass, I was like, this sounds familiar.
That's
hey,
awesome.
Mike,
Really?
what library did you use to mock up these bass parts? He's like, oh, it's Dredge Bass 2. I'm like, you gotta be kidding me.
That's crazy.
Yeah,
That is so
this is
funny.
the bass. It's gonna be really
Wow.
easy to mix it in.
Yeah. Yeah.
You're like, we're done here because I already played that.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah.
That is so.
I love the Ampeg Soundworks stuff. I use the pedal VST all the time. The pedal steel is so good.
Oh yeah. My buddy Andrew Versa, who's also like he started out as like a video game remixer. He's the guy that owns that company.
Man, it's incredibly hard to get a pedal steel and a plug-in to make sense.
Yeah, right.
It really works. It's great.
Man, I'm gonna hit you guys up for more info on this stuff.
Oh yeah, I got a long
because I'm a complete troglodyte, I guess, when it comes to using all this stuff. Like, here I would be like calling my buddy, my drummer buddy, like, hey, can you load your drums down here to track some stuff for me? And
I miss more of that though.
I know, but
atmosphere.
Like I said, I mean, I've got an interface and a power and a monster power strip. That's my home studio. So not that I do a lot of stuff here anyways, but
getting real musicians is always going to be better. Like people who can play well, it's always going to be better.
Yeah. I mean, most of the stuff I'm doing here is literally, a B15 recording tracks for clients, basically a P bass into a B15 and doing old R&B stuff and things like that for them. So would you consider yourself more of a 6-string player, or you still a diehard 4-string player, or do you kind of fall in between there?
I play 4s, 5s, and 6s. I obviously 4 strings for TSO because I'm never going to use those strings, and I don't think my wrist can handle more than 6 strings, so I'm not going to be like one of those crazy ass like 7-string bass players probably. I have a 5-string. I used to have a normal Fender Jazz 5-string, and I actually ended up selling that one. I never jived with it that well. Okay. I ended up replacing it with a Kiesel 5-string jazz bass, which sounds like a jazz bass, and it's a lot easier to play.
Yep. Yeah.
So I've played 5 strings for like corporate and party and cover band gigs when I just need the B string. But generally, I'm not going to use my C string for mini gigs. But this thing is just so comfortable that I can do a lot more tricks, I guess, party tricks with this sort of bass than some of the other ones that I play.
I'm shocked that you don't use a 5 for TSO. I would expect that for some reason. It's cool that you don't.
Yeah, basically most TSO songs don't go below D. So I have a drop D tuner on all the basses.
Yeah.
And that's about all I need. But also I wear the basses down like as low as possible because it does look cool. It's not what I would choose to do, but it does look cool, and it looks cool in photos, and it's just kind of like part of the performance. So my basses with TSO are down pretty low, and I don't want to screw up my wrist, so I would not, if I had a 5-string, they wouldn't be that low.
Yeah. Have you ever done the Nashville 5 thing or whatever, where it's like you're just ditching the G string and it's all
B-A-D?
Yeah.
No, well,
just for the look. A lot of guys have done that.
I feel like you probably have to have somebody like drill out the nut a little bit.
Oh yeah,
strings in there.
You got to really commit, I think, if you're
you got to commit to it, and it's like I tried doing that on one of my P basses, Dom, and it was so freaking confusing. It was like it brought me back to the day of when I went from a 4-string to a 5-string.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh shit, am I playing G or it's a D? And at that point, it's just like, you know what? I'll just play a 5-string from now on.
Yeah.
But
I would just prefer to play the 5-string.
Yep.
That is funny though about the height of the bass, the strap height. It matters. It really does. I'm much more of a higher player thumb style type situation. And calling, it's like that does not work. You got to go. Got it. Yeah, but it's so much less comfortable to play.
I've on my strap. all my straps, I have 2 settings. Like so, one is the higher, so I unclip and put it on. And then if I'm playing with April, or especially if I'm playing with a pick, I'll just unlatch and put it on the lower setting, so it just kind of sits down a little bit lower, and it's easy to play with the pick, and it does. It looks cooler.
Yeah,
let's face it. Hey, we're at 15 minutes still, and we still haven't gotten to like number one. You have a live stream. Is it every Tuesday?
Yeah, when I can do it.
Okay,
when I'm not traveling. Yeah.
All right, so we got to put that up in the comments here so people can follow along, because
cool.
What is the, or maybe
okay. If you type in twitch.tv/Tony Dickinson, that would take it to the channel. Yeah, so I started doing this last July, I think. I tried doing some streaming during COVID, as a lot of us did. And at the time, I think because nobody was doing concerts, the record companies got a little bit more like, we're gonna get all of our dough from people doing live streaming. And so I tried doing some covers, and they hit me on copyright strikes. So I was like, I guess I just won't do that again. But at some point between then and now, I think Twitch made a deal probably with record companies that you can stream licensed music only during live streams. You can't have them on your like VODs, your video on demands, after the fact.
Okay.
But so I have this live stream. It's just, honestly, it's something to do, and I like performing for people, and it also keeps my chops up.
Yep.
Especially when I don't have gigs. So I do like 2.5 hours worth of rock and metal covers. Like the first half will be like classic rock stuff, and the second half will be like progressive power metal sort of things that I kind of like grew up with, and that which is kind of my bread and butter as a millennial growing up in the 2000s. But it's not just covers. I have like wacky things that happen. I basically programmed in this stream to where every 666 seconds something happens, like where I either have to like play the bass with like a rubber chicken, or Hulk hands, or like my tuning changes.
Okay.
I have it like connected. Yeah, I have it like MIDI synced to my Axe effects, so where it'll like change the tuning automatically, or like put like a bit crusher on the sound, and we'll just all suffer for like 30 seconds. And people can, if they want, like trigger those power downs, right? Instead of like a power up, it's a power down. It's supposed to make it harder for me to do it.
Dude,
that is awesome.
Just to make it like more than just your normal cover stream.
Yeah. And that is at 3:00 Pacific.
3:00 Pacific time today.
So
yes.
6:00 my time. 10:00 in the UK, I think, because UK is only 4 hours ahead right now, I think.
But Brady Bills just popped in. I just saw a comment from Brady Bills. I'm actually about to do a gig with Brady on Friday. I'm flying out to Jackson Hole to do a gig with him.
Oh, hey, cool.
Brady. Shout out to Brady.
There you go.
That's cool.
So Brady's watching. Awesome.
Yeah.
Another thing I want to cover, your YouTube channel. Dude, first of all, the How to Lose a Gig was brilliant, because we've all done it, and we've all seen it.
Which episode did you see? Because I think I have 3 of them. I need to make a lot more of them, but you were playing
September. I don't know which episode, but it was September.
Yeah. So I've done September. I did Africa by Toto, and I did Juice by Lizzo. I need to do a lot more of them, but it's like the weird wacky stuff that I want to take the time to learn. It just, they do take a lot of time, and I'm busy, and I'm constantly doing a variety of things. September was the one that like everybody sees. But I started doing those because around that time I was noticing like there was a lot of people being like, this pop song, if you shredded over it, and there was like a lot of those videos just have like no self-awareness, where it's like yeah, it's cool, but it's not really that cool, you know. And so like a lot of obviously the internet kind of lends itself to the spectacle, right, of playing. But in the reality, once you've kind of like been in the professional music world, you understand that it's like there's a time and place for that stuff. And really what will get you the gig and get you rehired is your ability to be cooperative and fit in with the band and figure out how to make the overall sound just better. Like fitting in with the band is a skill that's harder than people actually realize. And of course, like younger musicians, they fall in love with the instrument and they learn all their fast stuff first. Like it's very common. Like we've all been there. And then, you know, honestly, one of my first experiences playing with TSO was having to like control all of that, like control all of the extra high notes and stuff, and just play the bass line. And so that was pretty humbling, but it was very valuable. And so I kind of designed the How to Lose a Gig thing just because I do have these party tricks which are fun and spectacular, but like it with the self-awareness of like, I know that if I use this in a gig, I'm gonna get fired. So it like a weird way of trying to like illustrate anybody that's watching. It's like, yeah, I know how to play the bass line. Trust me, I know how to play the bass line. But I can also do this thing real quick. I know I'll lose money, but if I do it, just watch me do it.
The expressions on your face while you're doing them though are priceless. I gotta say, because you're making these facial expressions like, check me out, like
yeah. Again, it's like self-awareness. Right?
Yep. It's my one experience with that was I had just moved back here to Boston. I started playing with a pretty prominent wedding band, and the band leader called Mustang Sally.
Oh boy.
And here I am, fresh out of Musicians Institute, just moved from LA after being in LA for 10 years. Mustang Sally, I'm going to funk it up a little bit. And I did just exactly that. Started slapping over the whole tune. At the end of the tune, like this, at the time, Carl was... anyways, at the end of the tune, in the middle of the gig, while the bride and groom are still on, comes up to me, he says, "You ever effing do that again on Mustang Sally, I'll fire your ass right here in the middle of the gig." From that day on, Tony, I swear to God, from that, like I've played with other guitar players that have called Mustang Sally in like a jam situation. They'll look over me like, "Come on, man, funk it up a little bit." Nope.
You're traumatized.
Absolutely not. Nope. I am playing it. So I was traumatized.
That's great.
But, also, so I put the link up for your YouTube channel because you also, and this completely blew me away, was the Davey 504 challenge, or is it Davey 504?
Oh yeah. Yep.
Did he ever get back to you on that?
No, I did that because I thought he was going to, and like this is during COVID and everything, and he didn't.
Okay.
I don't do a whole lot with my YouTube channel anymore because people don't really watch covers on YouTube that often.
Okay.
Like they used to, like 15 years ago, and I was doing that a lot more. And like actually, my very first YouTube cover is a Symphony X cover, and that was actually what got the attention of TSO. Just as a fun fact.
Oh, okay. Cool.
That's great. That's
very cool. Yeah. But anyways, you won that challenge hands down. I mean, when you started playing it with your pinky, the pinky challenge, and then I was just like,
I like the one finger, one fret one.
I'm like, when's the rubber chicken gonna come out? That sort of thing.
Yeah. Well, it'll probably come out today.
We'll be watching it.
Yeah.
Hey, before we split, it's actually up to 16 now. We call it rapid fire. It was 10 rapid fire questions. So I present you with an either or type of question, and you're gonna give me the first. It's simple. It's simple. You'll pass.
Dino is also the originator of this concept.
Thank you, Dom. It often
Great
duplicated, never. Anyways. There's a few other people doing it these days, but okay. So question number one: P bass or jazz bass?
Jazz bass.
Okay. Passive or active?
Passive, actually.
Okay, that's all right. Yeah. Rounds or flats?
Rounds.
Okay. B15 or SVT?
SVT.
Okay. Cable or wireless?
So it always gets
Wireless, but yeah, wireless. I'm gonna have to go wireless.
Some of them are
I like
tough.
not tripping over my cables.
Pick or fingers?
Fingers.
Okay. IEMs or floor wedges?
IEMs.
Okay. Pedals or no pedals?
Pedals.
Okay. Getting into the travel section of this whole thing. Window or aisle?
Window. I like sleeping.
Okay. High bunk or low bunk?
I'm in a low bunk, but I've not had the high bunk experience, so I don't know if I can actually truly answer that question.
Okay. All right. So technically, you're low bunk at this point.
Yeah. Let's go.
Speaking of SVT, the look of SVT. Do you like black with white piping, or do you like the traditional blue and silver?
Kind of like the black and white.
Okay. All right. Hot chocolate or coffee?
Both. Mocha.
There you go.
I love it.
Yeah.
Perfect. Favorite place to eat while on the road? And this could be a cuisine or it could be a specific restaurant.
Yo, whenever we used to stop in Nashville, but it's hard for anybody to play Nashville right now. It's just really expensive. So we didn't stop at Nashville last year, but whenever I would go into Nashville, I'm like, I gotta get my hot chicken. I just love Nashville hot chicken.
Okay.
And they're like Hattie B's or I forget, it's like Puckett's grocery store or something. Actually, has really good Nashville hot chicken.
So hot chicken is your thing. Okay.
Jam, yeah.
All right. Perfect. Your go-to lick for sound check?
It's probably either Brick House or I like big butts.
Yes. That is the best one so far.
That is.
Yeah. They're great bass lines.
It is a great bass line.
Cheesecake or carrot cake?
Oh, cheesecake.
Okay.
Easily. I don't like carrot cake.
And then last one is favorite Saturday morning cartoon.
Oh, dude. Okay. Well, I grew up with Pokemon.
Okay.
So that was gonna have to be mine. But I do love Looney Tunes.
Okay.
I do love Looney Tunes.
You can't go wrong with either one.
Yeah.
Like I said, it's a little bit of everything in these top 10 questions. So
Nice.
I appreciate you answer them really quick and not.
Probably just the second one we've had.
Yeah, seriously. Some of our guests, they get they especially get hung up on round wounds or flats.
Yeah.
And it's like even if they're a traditional round wound player, you say flats, they're like, oh, but a P bass with flats. So yeah, I appreciate that.
I mean, jazz bass, you can put it on the neck pickup and it sounds pretty close to it too. Yeah. Not exactly, but it sounds pretty close. With round wounds, you can adjust your playing to kind of make it sound like mellow and flat. You can't do it really the other way around. And with fingers, it's just like I have more techniques available to me. So it's generally like I like more flexibility and I like being able to like control it myself and just having the range available. That's generally my philosophy with
There
that.
you go. Yeah, that's all right. Like I said, there's never any wrong answers. Let's put it that way. It's just kind of getting into your mindset. So, man, this has been fantastic. Obviously, I know, and I had asked you this prior to us going live, but how busy you are throughout the year, and obviously November through to the end of the year is a busy time for you because you're busy with TSO, but you're busy throughout the rest of the year too, doing other stuff as well. So people can keep in touch with you through your socials. I had posted your Facebook and your Instagram, and okay, all right, cool.
Yep. And I got my live stream today at 3:00 Pacific time.
Yep. And we posted the link on there. So anybody that's watching, this is going to be rebroadcast at some point during the week too. So you can go back and get all those links as well. But 3:00 Pacific time, your live stream on Twitch, right?
6 Eastern. Yeah.
Cool. Man, everybody, thank you so much for joining in. It's been, like I said, it's been a while. We haven't done an SVT time since I think the week after NAMM, and it was just Dom and I kind of recapping recapping NAMM. But let me just take a quick look here as far as future SVT times. And I know we have, so April 14th, we've got Nikki Moninger. April 28th, we've got Leanne. It's Hoogie is on May 26th.
Sweet.
So that'll be a fun one to get into the mind of the guy that puts all this stuff together.
Yeah.
You know,
Yep.
you guys all enjoy that. Everybody, thanks for watching. Yeah, we'll keep on doing this until they tell us to stop. So this was episode 94, by the way, Dom, for anybody that's following along. So Tony, thank you so much for your time.
Thank you guys for having me.
Man, it's been an absolute pleasure. And we'll see you guys in 2 weeks. Yeah. All right. Let me see if I can, if I'm helpless without Aaron here. See if I can end the stream here.
If you can, I can.